Tzu Chi volunteers travel to eastern Japan to assess Typhoon Hagibis damage and prepare for a future distribution. Documenting volunteers record the moments when bone marrow donors meet their recipients for the first time. I'm Sean Scanlon. This is Dai Headlines. Typhoon Hagibis devastated eastern Japan, with Tzu Chi volunteers providing 1,000 blankets and assessing damage to provide more disaster relief.
The entire plots of paddy fields have been immersed in water. Since the Bukumagawa River water level rose, the dam broke. There's debris everywhere in Miyagi Prefecture, which has been devastated by Typhoon Hagibis. The volunteers from Tzu Chi Japan chapter traveled from Tokyo on the 18th of October, carrying 1,000 blankets and reached Marumorimachi.
The Marumorimachi Stadium is the place the aid supplies are gathered. Yesterday, we've delivered the aid supplies here.
At the Marumorimachi Stadium, the volunteers care for the affected residents on behalf of Dharma Master Zheng Yan. They've also given 1,000 blankets to the staff here.
For the affected residents who are staying at the shelter, they must feel very warm being able to receive your gifts. Thank you very much.
In the daytime, there is no one at the shelter because they have returned home to clean up or go to school or work. Therefore, we decided to find other opportunities to return to the shelter to personally deliver our blankets to the affected residents.
In the aftermath of the typhoon, Marumorimachi is working on its recovery. Even the public transportation have not resumed services. As the volunteers assess damages, they also find opportunities to show their care for the affected residents. This group of volunteers have completed their damage assessment in Miyagi Prefecture. On the other hand, some other volunteers have completed a disaster assessment in Nagano Prefecture. The volunteers will return to Tokyo to compile the information and plan for disaster relief work.
In August, heavy rains caused serious flooding in central Laos. Tzu Chi volunteers plan to distribute rice seeds and rice in early November, with the local government fully assisting the effort.
The road was bumpy after the disaster. The farmland on both sides have been damaged.
This field cannot be used again. All roads have been washed out and we need to take another road, so the effects of the disaster here is very serious.
In August and September, heavy rains caused serious flooding in the central region of Laos. Tzu Chi volunteers went there to assess damage and plan to distribute rice seeds and rice before the end of the year. Before the distribution, volunteers travel around to find a distribution site. In the end, they decided to borrow this ancient temple, which has a history of 300 years, for distribution.
Thank you, Bodhisattva, for bringing us here. This was built in the 16th century. An ancient Buddha for worshipping is inside. We often choose temple as our distribution site, just like Dharma Master is for Buddhism in all beings.
On the other hand, volunteers also actively purchased local rice seed. An agriculture expert, Mr. Hong Zai-sen, is experienced in rice, has prepared an equipment to test the quality. Tzu Chi volunteers seized this opportunity to inspire compassion.
The rice to be harvested this time will be full of Tzu Chi's love to help those affected people.
Volunteers also visit the local government to sign a memorandum of cooperation.
When Tzu Chi comes again to distribute materials, I'll ask my friends to come and help with distribution so that everyone can have the opportunity to participate and give.
After finishing the meeting in the morning, the charity leader in Laos has put on a pair of white trousers like the volunteers do and visited the distribution site together. With her alongside, the road is no longer filled with obstacles. One of the volunteers, Chen Zhenhui, who is a businessman from Taiwan, helped with interpretation and was very touched.
All volunteers serve like bodhisattvas. I'm very grateful to the brothers and sisters for giving me this opportunity to serve. I'll try my best to continue to do this. Tima and members of the Chinese Medicine Committee of Ho Chi Minh hosted a free clinic with 6 departments. The clinic served a total of 570 patients who received medical assistance.
From registration to where to go next to wait for the examination, patients are guided by Tzu Chi volunteers the entire way.
I can feel that everybody is very enthusiastic. The arrangement is good. I'm 86 years old already and happy to see such an orderly process.
Tzu Chi Vietnam chapter held a free clinic offering 6 specialties in Binh Duong province.
I've also participated in a free clinic hosted by other organizations before, yet this is the biggest among them. There are many specialists here and they have complete medical equipment in each specialty.
A team of 30 practitioners from Chinese Medicine Committee of Ho Chi Minh City was invited by Tzu Chi to help the elderly improve their bones and joint problems.
Internal medicine diseases require specialized equipment. The residents here mostly have bone degeneration, arthritis, and other diseases. We mainly rely on acupressure points and massage to relieve their pain. We'll use different methods to help different patients walk normally.
Ophthalmic services also provide suitable eyeglasses to the elderly at the scene.
Volunteers guided me well when I was unclear during the checkup. I hope that these wonderful actions can continue to care for the elderly. And the macaroni everyone cooked were excellent.
Volunteers not only took care of the elderly but also care for the young. The target audience of the free clinic also includes students, who are so thoughtful to allow Tzu Chi volunteers to serve the elderly first. They also actively help each other, making the free clinic, with 570 patients served, filled with warmth and humanity.
Today we introduce 2 lay practitioners who are dedicated to Tzu Chi's charity mission. Si Hao has studied and worked in the U.S., later vowing to follow the Bodhisattva path. Jin Cheng experienced life's impermanence when her father passed away and decided to dedicate herself to Tzu Chi.
At the age 30, I asked myself, I've already spent perhaps 1/3 of my life. How should I spend the other 2/3? I asked myself, in my life, what is the most meaningful? What kind of deeds can make me really happy? The answer is Tzu Chi.
In 2007, my father's life ended in front of me, showing me impermanence. At that moment, I felt that humans are very, very trivial. No matter what great strength you have, you cannot awaken my father again. At the moment, I realized that impermanence is not just a word in the book, but it is something that can happen to you. At the moment, I experienced extreme pain and suffering. I've also realized that it is almost impossible for the small me to accomplish some great deeds. It is impossible for the world to become a better place because of my own strength. Therefore, I must join an organization in which people work together to do things. Then I kept hearing a voice in my heart. Jing Si abode will be very important in my life. Tzu Chi will be the focus of my life.
慈济会是我生命当中非常大的一个范围的这样的一个重心。
人生想有意义的地方，不只是为了赚钱，不只是为了工作上的某一个成就。
The meaningful goal in life is not just to make money or accomplish some success at work. It is to be able to do something for the society. In fact, by joining Tzu Chi, we do not only benefit the public, we also elevate ourselves in the aspect of our image and materialistically helping others. Since we elevated ourselves, our elevation of moral character can inspire people. Their moral character can also be shaped. You can influence more people out there.
他们，而是让他们的品格也可以跟着你一起，你可以影响到更多的人。
是一路上教导清修士的过程当中。
From seeing how the master guides the lay practitioners, I can feel that the master has great expectations of lay practitioners. She hopes this group of young people who have dedicated themselves can put their talents to use and make the world a better place.
那如果发心立愿能够帮助更多的人，
If making a grand vow can help more people in need, if making a vow can help us grow on the path of cultivation, then it is something we should do. I think in life, being able to combine work and volunteerism is known as the combination of work and aspiration. However, if you can combine work, volunteerism, and family, that would be a combination of the three sectors. That would even be better. This way, as we wake up every morning, we carry out Tzu Chi's work. Before we go to bed at night, we also think about Tzu Chi's mission. Even in our dreams, we think about how we can help the master or help the Tzu Chi world. I think it is something we should do.
慈济世界，我觉得这都是我们应该要做的事。
Tzu Chi arranged a tea gathering for the bone marrow donors and recipients. After feeling nervous about meeting each other on stage, the donors and recipients sat next to each other and had a brief chat. They learned the transplant led personal boundaries to vanish, becoming like one big family.
Bone marrow donors and recipients finally meet each other after a long period of time. During the tea gathering, they showed appreciation and concern for each other.
I'm deeply moved and feel very grateful for the help. Just like the words printed on our vest, because of your love, my life could be extended.
With a little help, I could save their entire family. I feel very happy for them.
Hugging the children of bone marrow recipients, talking about each other's life. Many of them take group photos recording this important moment.
These donors have to be brave enough for saving others' life. I really appreciate my donator.
After seeing how his entire family is safe and happy, my efforts have been worthwhile.
After feeling nervous first meeting each other on stage, the donors and recipients start exchanging contact information. Yesterday they were strangers, but now they have become like one family.
I feel grateful that I got a chance to meet Lifesaver. I really appreciate him.
Just as how they overcame their illness, I wish they could be brave when facing any upcoming life challenges and helping others as well when they get an opportunity.
The donors and recipients gave each other love and blessings in the tea gathering. In the end, selfless love connects two families.
In order to record touching moments from the first meeting between bone marrow donors and recipients, nearly 40 Tzu Chi documenting volunteers came to assist the event. Volunteers stayed to capture these touching moments.
Tzu Chi documenting volunteers are waiting patiently to capture touching moments in a donor-recipient meeting.
It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even longer than 30 minutes to get a good photo. We want to capture these touching moments, so we kept waiting until we are satisfied.
In order to capture the best moments, some photographers kept their body low and still on the floor for a long time.
I have sore arms and legs.
Nearly 40 Tzu Chi documenting volunteers attended the meeting. Some volunteers even overcame difficulties to join the meeting.
I just came back from Kaohsiung this noon. I'm here to feel the warm energy, meanwhile recording the precious moments.
The volunteers were learning to select the best pictures for the audience. The bone marrow recipients could finally express their appreciation to the donors. Through the camera, these precious moments are now forever preserved.
An act of compassion can connect two strangers. Zhang Hanwei was 19 years old and was diagnosed with anemia and needed a marrow transplant in order to survive. His donor is a middle school teacher who registered to be a donor when she was in college.
No matter on streets or in alleys, Tzu Chi volunteers try their best to encourage people to register their blood sample. As the more people register, the more hope there is for some patient.
I was in nursing then and learning to take care of patients. And one day I saw Tzu Chi's marrow campaign, so I thought to register myself.
Chen Yingshou is a middle school teacher now. 19 years ago, when she was still a student, she gave a blood sample to register her marrow with Tzu Chi. 6 years later, the opportunity to save a life came, but now she was married and has 2 kids, which made her hesitated about her donating decision.
传统的观念会觉得这种捐骨髓应该是伤身的事。
Usually when people think of marrow donation, they think it's harmful for the body. Since I have 2 kids to raise, my mother wasn't encouraging me to make the donation.
Hesitation and fear comes with lack of understanding. However, after experiencing his brother-in-law's death due to blood cancer, his husband encouraged her to make a donation.
那种投射的心态就是说，如果今天这是我的亲人，那我觉得。
My sister's husband died because he didn't receive a bone marrow donation. Now my wife has an opportunity to donate hers to those in need. I really encourage her to do this.
会想到说，如果对方跟我一样，
What if the patient is just like me, having kids to raise and is waiting for donation? And if no one make a donation, he or she might pass away. Thus, I told myself to give a try.
Without her decision, Zhang Hanwei might not be here today.
因为那时候状况其实还蛮糟的。对啊，
At that time, my situation was really bad. My body functioned poorly. I had little energy to fight for the illness.
Zhang Hanwei was diagnosed with aplastic anemia after he just got into college. Death knocked his door just as he was starting out. Fortunately, he received a successful match for transplantation surgery and is now working on his master's degree. He feels grateful for his rebirth at the age of 19. Now he has a different perspective towards life.
获得第二生命的感觉吧。
Having a second chance in life is like gaining a new set of parents. Without the transplant surgery, I might have less than 2 years to live.
对，就很谢谢他。对啊，愿意做这件事情，救了我一命。
Compassion and love makes the impossible possible.
Each year, when the windy season blows through Mongolia, severe dust storms cover the country in nearby areas like Taiwan, Japan, and Korea. To prevent further desertification, the Mongolian government has been promoting reforestation of the country. In today's report, we learn more about this.
We collaborated with Japan in research and found that if service plants grow at least 20 centimeters of grass, then when the wind blows, then it won't create a sandstorm and the soil won't be damaged by the wind. This is a very important safety measure for desertification prevention.
But this 20 centimeter of grass is not as easy to grow as one thinks, with drought and man damages to the land.
There are more than 20 quarries here. They have removed the topsoil and is causing temporary sandstorms in the area. We are also lacking in water resources here.
The excavation removes the soil and rock, while the grassland is being destroyed. Losing the protective barrier, sandstorms are bound to happen.
Trees have a hard time surviving in Mongolia, so we've planted the poplar tree, which has a good survival rate. It helps to block the wind and to protect the soil.
This afforestation project is a collaboration with a Korean NGO. It will plant the Mongolian poplar tree on the outside to block the wind, and when that is successful, more economic valuable trees like the sea buckthorn and black currant will follow.
The uniqueness about Mongolian sea buckthorn tree is that it can grow despite Mongolia's below 40 weather in the winter or 40 degrees Celsius heat in the summer. When there's a dust storm or arid temperatures, it can survive. This is what is special about this wild fruit. The root grows together and helps grabs onto the soil to reduce dust storms. It also helps to fertilize the soil and support the growth of other vegetation.
There has been a governmental campaign to plant the sea buckthorn tree to prevent desertification. It's been 7 years and the trees planted to block the wind are still small and swaying in the wind. We can see here there are many deep holes which are 60 by 60 by 60 cubic centimeters. The reason for the depth of these holes is that when the tree seedlings are planted, it can be protected from the wind. And also the holes can hold up to 20 liters of water, sustainable for 1 week for the tree.
Climate is nature's problem, and Mongolians don't feel like it's related to them. So they don't have much concept about planting trees and are not willing to do it. So we need to raise their awareness about afforestation and the importance of trees to protect nature. This is the fastest way to solve this problem.
This professor has recruited his students to help plant trees. He says the technique isn't difficult, but it's to get the people involved that's the hard part. Together, trees are planted. Each tree is representative of a hope for a better tomorrow.
In the beginning, I wasn't thinking about why we were planting trees. I just wanted to come meet pretty girls. But now I know the importance of afforestation.
It's hard to imagine how the 123,000 tree seedlings which have already been planted have fought against the sandstorms to take root here.
I hope this area can be filled with trees and become a city in the sky. This was just a field of sand. So by planting trees, when it becomes green, our summers will be more beautiful. I'm hoping by the next generation, they will be able to take a stroll here.
There's a saying in Mongolian which translates to, planting one tree is akin to lighting 1,000 candles for the Buddha. In Mongolia, a group of people are working on leaving something for the next generation.
Tzu Chi Academy of Humanistic Studies in Richmond, Canada, held a parent-teacher conference at the start of the new school year. We will leave you with these images. Goodbye.